Hi there! So how about making this cute little rabbit pendant? Let's get wrapping! For this project we need 1mm diameter wire, which is 18 gauge, 0.4mm diameter wire, which is 26 gauge, and a 6mm diameter bead. And the tools we need are bail making or round nose pliers, flat nose or chain nose pliers, and wire cutters. To get started, we're using the 1mm diameter or 18 gauge wire, and we need a piece about 35cm or 14 inches long. We want to fold it gently to find the approximate centre, and then using the bail making pliers or the base of your round nose pliers, we're going to make a full loop. I'm using the 6mm step on my bail making pliers. Then using flat nose or chain nose pliers, we want to bend the ends of the wires back on themselves. So we'll pull the wire forwards and then carefully fold it over and close up that fold. Then we'll do the same for the other side, and we just want to leave a small gap between them. Then if we clamp one side of that wire with some chain nose pliers, we can use another pair just to twist the wire open a bit. We want these wires to be about level. Then we're going to shape the body, and I'm going to use the thinnest part of my ring mandrel, but you could use a lipstick or a marker pen, or just make it freehand. And it'll be helpful when following the instructions if you make the wire coming from the right hand side of the pendant cross over the front. And once we've got the body the shape we want, we're going to make the frame for the tail, and we're going to put the bail making pliers, or the base of our round nose pliers, right in the centre at the bottom of this frame. And then we want to take that topmost wire right the way round. And I'm using the 6mm step on the bail making pliers again because that's the size of my bead. And we're now ready to add the tail and start wire wrapping. We now want to take 1 metre to 1.5 metres of the 0.4mm or 26 gauge wire. I've got 1.5 metres here, but I have plenty left over at the end. We want to find the centre of that wire, and then from the centre, wrap twice on the top of that tail loop. Then we can thread on our bead, and with the two tails of the wire, we want to thread one between the centre wire and the backmost wire, and the other between the centre wire and the frontmost wire. And with the frontmost wire, we're going to wrap that middle wire 5 times. This is the frame wire coming from the right hand side. And then with the other weaving wire, we want to wrap that back wire, which is the inner frame wire coming from the left hand side. And we're wrapping that 5 times as well. Now our bead is nicely secured. So we can now start to shape those frame wire tails around the outside of the body. And on one side, wrap both wires twice. Then we're going to wrap just the inner wire 5 times. And this 5-2 weave is going to be what we use for the whole pendant. So we'll wrap both wires twice. And then just the inner wire 5 times again. We'll do exactly the same on the other side, wrapping both wires twice, and then wrapping just that inner wire 5 times. And we want to continue this 5-2 weave up both sides of the pendant, fairly close to the top of the body, but leave a little bit of space. Once we've got this far, we want to turn those frame wires again. And we're doing exactly the same as we did before, folding it back on itself. This time we're folding it towards the back. And we just want to fold it so it nestles nicely with the fold of that inner wire. And then we'll carefully twist those wires again so that they can start bending around the outside of the head. Once we've got both of those wires folded, we can continue with the 5-2 weave up to that fold in the outer wire. I can just fit another 2 wraps on both wires. And then we want to continue wrapping just the inner wire up to that inner fold. And once we've got there, as the wire comes out from the middle of that fold, we can simply move over and start wrapping the head part of that inner wire. And we'll just wrap that inner wire around until the outer wire meets it again. We can then wrap both of those wires together again twice. We'll continue that a little way, up to the point where we need to shape the ears. Now I've got a little bit of space again, just before the ears, where I can put another double wrap, but let's shape the ears first. So we can go in with our flat nose or chain nose pliers and just bend both of those wires upwards and outwards a little. Once we've done them both, we can check and see that's where we want the ears to be. And then on the left-hand side here, we can just shape that a little. Just put a little bit of a curve in it. And do the same for the right-hand side. And then we'll go up to where we think the top of the ear should be and bend that right-hand ear right the way back on itself. I like to overbend it and then just open it out a little. Just makes a sharper end. And then curve that a little bit as well. Now for the left-hand wire, we're leaving that going upwards. We're going to make the other part of that ear with the right-hand wire. First we need to bend that to finish off the top of the rabbit's head. And then bend it upwards. Curve it a little to make that second ear. I'm just going to bend one of those wires forward a little bit to mark where the top of the ear should be. And now we can finish off our wire wrapping. So we'll wrap twice on both wires. And then on the left-hand side here, just wrap a couple of times around that innermost wire. Then on the right-hand side, we'll wrap both wires twice. And then wrap just that inner wire past where the base of the ear is. We're then going to come over the top of the head and wrap that top of the head twice. And then just wrap the inner wire again to meet the wraps from the other side. Now you could leave both ears straight, but I think it's quite nice to just fold that one over a little. So we'll take our flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers and just a little way from the end, we need to put them in at a slight angle and then bend the tip of that ear backwards. Go carefully. The wires might move around a little bit, but once we've got that ear how we want, we can just go back and readjust the wire. And reshape that second ear. Now we can cut off our weaving wires. Just bend them over and cut them close to each other. Then press those ends down so they're not catching. And then we want to put our bell making pliers or round nose pliers at the top of that ear. And just take both of those wires right the way round. I just got them so they're coming past either side of the ear. Which makes it a bit easier to cut the excess off. And then we can just move those ends back over the wire. And a rabbit pendant's finished. If you enjoyed the video, why not head to this playlist for more like it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.